Thunderbirds are go. Christmas has come early. Obviously have the same amount of weathering as the silver. Well, it's got to have, hasn't it?
Yeah, it will have. It'll be slightly different.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of. I'm going to try and wear it out. Actually, sort of like put sort of wear marks in it and everything else. And
oh, like foot marks and where people have climbed up on it.
Yeah, scuff marks, bits and pieces like that. There's some little bleed marks in the corners here.
Right.
I'm not really going to worry about because out in service they don't really worry about it looking nice and neat and tidy. It's only sort of like airliners and bits and pieces, aircraft that have are in service. You're bound to get that on real aeroplanes. And I've seen it so many times, so.
Yeah.
Right, you can see the difference with the reds. That's the Russian star red, and this is the orangey red that the aircraft's painted in.
Right.
So now this is the paint mask.
Oh, I see, yeah, you've got a border around it.
So there's a white edge all the way around it. So I painted the wing panel first, white.
Right.
Then painted this red, and then painted that orangey red, and then painted the silver.
That shouldn't stand out well.
And of course that will be dirted, so it won't be so bright a white.
Right.
So.
Not sure. Can't remember.
The only product that I think is readily available worldwide is the 3Ns lining tape.
Right.
And go for the blue one, this dark blue, which is a flexible lining tape. So I've only done straight lines here, but it's actually flexible.
So it'll go around compound curves.
Yeah, and I think that's the only product. As I say, this masking tape is well, let's just say 3 paint factors around here don't supply it.
Right.
There's only 1 paint factor that supplies it around here, so it's not. Here, masking is against the red, and it's supposed to line up with the red, just to ensure that I don't get any silver bleeding between the white and the red, is I've added a little strip. That's what I've done
right
there. So you can just see a little bit of white. So it just covers a little bit of bleeding there, but I'm not really that concerned. And with the masking, wherever there's panel lines, you have to make sure that the paint masking really goes down. Try not to stretch the masking, stretch the masking over the top. Try and lay it flat, run your nail across it, the joint, and then lay it down. And that will actually step the masking, instead of forcing it down and then pushing it where the gap is, where it will naturally pull up. If you just sort of like let it rest, run along the seam, and then carry on.
I see, yeah. So you're not stretching the tape.
Don't stretch it, try and...
Yeah. As you say, it'll just lift up again.
You can see these have not bled underneath it. Because what I did is I slayed it on top, run the nail around it, and then carried on going outwards.
Yeah, I see, yeah. What are you going to do, roll her over?
Yeah, can you get hold of the front?
The way you're rolling up.
Try not to get your hands on the, try and go up the intake. Right, bring it back.
Christmas present number 3. This is an unusual 12. Normally on jets they're sort of like a 60 by 40 size. For some reason on this particular MiG, they're very, very tall and elongated. So it was very difficult to try and emulate that. Right. So on the real MiG, they're that scale, they're that shape.
They're this shape.
Yeah.
Why I took the masking off of that, I
I personally don't like leaving masking on too long. So if there's an area that's I'm not going to touch again, I'll remove the masking. For instance, this I didn't take it off because it was still being used down below. But usually I'll try and remove the masking as quickly as possible.
Is there an issue if you leave it on too long?
I just don't personally like it.
All right.
I have had issues with masking staying on too long, and what happens is the adhesive attaches itself to the model. So
Right.
when you peel the masking off, the masking is literally just plastic. There's no adhesion on it, and all the adhesive is left on the model, which you have to then clean off.
Right.
Right. The reason I use white spirit is because this is professional paints, which is an acrylic where the white spirit doesn't affect acrylic paint. It will eventually, if you rub it enough or soak it in, it will. But the white spirit has got enough, what's the word? It breaks down the adhesive,
Right. Yeah.
so it will clean off.
And then you clean the white spirit off as quick as you can, I
No, white
suppose.
spirit will evaporate.
All right.
And it's always obvious to start removing masking if you're going to use a scalpel where there's other masking, so you don't dig straight through.
Right.
Try and, when you mask, when you're running it along the edge of the skin, try not to hold the blade down. Try and keep the blade flat or slightly up and flick it off that way.
Right.
And what will happen is it won't actually scratch the surface of the model because there's no cutting edge on it. You go that
I
way,
see, yeah.
You go that way and start to try and get them paint mask or the masking off. It'll cut in because the masking will push the blade in and it'll mark it. So try and have the blade pointing this way.
Right.
I
Yep.
know it sounds a bit difficult, but it's difficult to do.
Gulag.
So I can feel the edge of that.
Right.
The blade is not touching the skin. It's that part of the blade. This sort of little slant.
Yeah.
Is touching. I can feel the edge. So, but there's build up of paint on there, a bit more than I would like for removing the film. And it's just getting the edge, the blade underneath it, and then just slowly peel it off, cut it and follow it around. Don't try and be cocky and do both ways in one go. And just take it nice and steady. You can see the paint's cracking on the top of the paint mask when I'm breaking it off. See?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
That's not saying that there's too much paint on, it's just saying that there is paint on it. And again, with the paint mask is via a supplier that it's taken ages to find.